Win or lose, hit the booze. Michael McLean, badassmillionaire.com. The toughest advice for the toughest business men. Just out on my early morning walk, 15,000 steps up to the end of the point and back 75 minutes on an absolutely beautiful morning. Just returned from my 6-day king and queen vacation with my wife Krista. The first time we've really gotten away without our daughter Emery for more than a weekend over the last 9 years. My daughter was at a 6-day, 5-night camp on an island where they didn't actually have any power. No, of course, no electronics. Just old school camping, and she had an amazing time, met lots of great kids. So I wanted to talk about a new experience, a booze-free vacation for the first time in my adult life. Admittedly, any vacation I went on, whether it was a weekend, a 3-day weekend, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Mexico, Turks and Caicos, honeymoons in Australia, traveling, no matter where we vacationed, one of the focal points for me always was alcohol. And you may or may not know, but I made the decision last December, just before Christmas, to level up my personal life in a few more areas. And one of the areas that I've been dragging my feet in for a couple of years was drinking alcohol. It was something that I wanted to eliminate from my personal life, from my business life. I wanted to eliminate it as a role model to my daughter. I wanted to eliminate it as a role model to my secret weapon wife. I just wanted to get rid of that poison in my world. You know, it reminds me of what I have written on my bathroom mirror and what I have written on my office, my home office wall, is I am either, with every decision I make, with every behavior, with every decision, with every rule I make for Michael McLean, I am either building my badass millionaire world of my dreams, or I'm tearing it down. There's no in between. I am either growing and building my badass empire, the world of my dreams, or the decisions and behaviors that I have are tearing it apart. There is no in between in my world. It's black or it's white. My thoughts equal my decisions equal my actions, and my actions equal the world I build or don't build. So in other words, I'm either building my personal sovereignty each and every decision I make, or I'm tearing my personal sovereignty apart. And I read that every day on the bathroom mirror. I read that every day in my home office. And nothing strikes me more every day than the thinking, the decisions that I make every day, which result in the behaviors. I'm either building the world, badass millionaire world of my dreams, or I'm tearing it apart. And alcohol is one of the many things that will tear your personal world apart, your business world apart. I made the decision in December to stop poisoning my body. And when I made that decision, I wrote it down. I made it a goal for 30 days. And then after 30 days, 45 days, as you know, you walk for 45 days, you work out for 45 days, becomes a habit and a lifestyle. And I've never looked back since a couple days after Christmas. And alcohol is no longer a part of my life in any way, shape, or form. It was my way of leveling up. It was my way of ridding my life and my world of something that no longer served me. I mean, I do not look down on people that drink. I mean, I've spilled more whiskey off my chin than you've drank. And I was a heavy boozer for 30 plus years. I worked hard, I played hard, and I drank hard. And if I didn't make that decision to level up, it was only a matter of time until I ended up with diabetes or heart disease or stroke or whatever. So my wake-up call finally came in December of this past year. And it's interesting because I started this video by saying, win or lose, hit the booze. That's a saying from pro hockey. That's a saying from professional sport. And all my adult life, since I was, 17 years old and up, I have been involved in hockey at the pro level and amateur level, tennis at the pro level and amateur level, and I was involved in the insurance business for 17 years. All of those industries that I just named are infamous for work hard, play hard. In other words, it doesn't matter win or lose a game when you're coaching hockey. You know, it's always about the beers and the drinks after, watch the game film, do all that stuff. But then it's all about the late night, pizza and a few drinks and hash over the game. I love that part of coaching. My assistant coaches would come back to our lake house after every Friday night game, after every Sunday afternoon game, after every road game. I'd invite them back and our wives would be there, and it was really something that I really enjoyed. So we would sit around for hours and talk about the game. We'd talk about the fans, the attendance. We'd talk about the refereeing. We would just basically go through the entire game with drinks. And it wasn't long until, it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and, you've had 6 drinks. And it was the same in the insurance business. When I got in the insurance business, I put on 23 pounds of weight in the first 3 months working in a cubicle. I'd never worked in an office. I had never had a sedentary job. I always was coaching in the weight room on the ice with the guys. So I put on 23 pounds of unwanted weight in 90 days, which I took off, by the way, in about 40 days when I stopped it. But everywhere I looked around, it was just these fat, out of shape insurance agents who drank too much. And the only exception to the rule, there were a few exceptions, but one of the biggest exceptions was the example in front of me, my father, who did not participate in that at all. My dad walks every day at age 88. He's a trim 165 pounds. My dad has diabetes. He was diagnosed 15 years ago. And he's been able to manage it without any needles, without any insulin. It scared the shit out of him. And he started walking 45 minutes a day, an hour a day, changed his lifestyle, changed his diet, started drinking more water. And over the last 15 years, he's been able to manage it, knock on wood, by lifestyle, exercise, nutrition, what he drinks. So I had a perfect example in front of me of what not to do in the insurance business. And I knew in the hockey business what not to do, and just look around and do the exact opposite. So it was an incredibly freeing decision. My friend and neighbor, Tom Burns, who owns Burns Jewelers, has been 35 years he hasn't drank. And I have friends like Michael Carroll, 35 plus years. And in those cases, those guys always mention to me about how freeing the decision is to stop poisoning yourself. Whether it's like me, a couple of drinks after a game, whether it's, sitting on the end of the dock. But with everything, eventually, you look up and alcohol is all through our society, right? It's the $1 trillion sales pitch. You go golfing, well, you go golfing to drink. You have a family reunion, it's a family reunion for everybody to drink. You go on vacation, it's an opportunity for everybody, happy hour at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's just alcohol, alcohol. So it's marketed hard to us. So I looked around in December and I said, I really want to take my life to a 0.001% level. Like, good enough is not good enough for me. I'm like my mom. And I just said to myself, that's it. I need to make a couple of changes in my life to level up, to take my world to the next level, to build my empire, to build my relationship with my daughter, to build my relationship with Krista, just to build, you know, Michael McLean. And like I said earlier, any thinking or any action or any resulting behavior is either building this world or it's tearing it apart. And alcohol, I don't care who you are, it doesn't help you build fuck all, okay? But it'll help you tear things apart. I've worked in youth detention centers when I was in university. I've worked with teenagers my whole life, young adults, and I've actually worked in group homes as well. So I've seen the dark side of drugs and alcohol and what it can do to an individual, what it can do to a family. So I wanted no part of it anymore. I wanted to set a better example for my daughter. I wanted to set a better example for my queen. And I wanted to set a better example for men like you. It's that simple. And I wanted to stop poisoning my body. I've shared before that this is long overdue for me, because at this point in my life and my career, it was only a silly habit. Like, it wasn't like I was a person who sat down and had to escape, or I was unhappy, or I was in a bad marriage, any of that bullshit. It was just a silly societal, habit that I needed to break. And that's what I do. I'm good at breaking habits. So just like, stopping eating too many carbs, just like walking every day, just like Wednesday date nights, just like my gratitude ritual at night before bed with my wife, all of these habits and lifestyles that I've implemented into my world to build my world, not to tear it apart. I did the same thing with the poison of alcohol. And it's so interesting because this was the first vacation that I've ever been booze free. And I didn't drink, when I was in Naples, Florida for 4 months. I haven't drank alcohol since the end of December. But this was different. This was 6 days with my wife. It's an opportunity for me to connect with my wife for the first time in years, because, we've had our daughter is always with us. And all I can think about is how much I gained. I was thinking the other day, when you give up something, the focus is what you're giving up, what you're losing, what you're surrendering. And when I change a negative habit, I only focus on what I'm gaining. And maybe that's why I have so much success in changing my own bad behavior. I write in my journal, the goal is as is. I wrote it as is. So I write my goal in December. I'm like, I no longer drink alcohol. That's all I wrote down. I no longer drink alcohol, as if it's happened. And I've written that line down for January, February, March, April, May, June. So basically, for over 6 months, I've written that in my journal. I no longer drink alcohol. So I've changed my identity. I've changed my identity more than anything. So when I get offered drinks, which is rarely, we have a family reunion today, it's always the same. No, I'm fine. I don't drink alcohol. But what's fascinating is all the things I gained from this decision. And isn't that what it's about? It's about you becoming the best version of yourself. Well, I couldn't become the best version of myself with this poison in my life. So I made the decision, and then I took action to build my world, my empire. And I decided to stop tearing it down. And I was tearing it down by being hungover on a Saturday morning, being tired on a Sunday morning, taking my daughter to skating or tennis or ball or whatever, chess, and I'm not a 100% there. I'm not 100% there. The stuff I teach, I'm not 100% there because I'm dehydrated. I didn't sleep well. I ate the wrong foods, pizza, and I'm not showing up as the best father. I'm not showing up as the best husband. I'm tired. I'm cranky. All these things that are the effects of putting poison in your body. So by eliminating this, I didn't give up anything. I didn't quit anything. I stopped, and that's a huge word. I stopped, okay, letting myself down. I stopped letting my daughter down. I stopped letting my wife down. I stopped letting people around me down. And then I wrote that down every single day in ink in my journal. I no longer drink alcohol. But I want to share with you what I've gained on my 6-day booze-free vacation is my connection with my wife has never been better on a vacation. We didn't have to worry about sitting around and reading by the pool or by the lake. And then, happy hour at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and then drinks at dinner and all this other stuff. There was none of that. There was no pressure to do that. There was none of that stuff whatsoever. So it's just total freedom. Another thing I'm loving is I can drive anywhere. I never have to plan ahead. Like today at the family reunion, I will drive Krista and her family an hour each way. And we can leave when I want to leave. We're free to drive. There's no pressure. There's none of this, well, I've had 2 drinks, should I still drive? All that bullshit is gone from my world. On the 6 days here, there was no fighting. There was no arguing. My wife and I rarely ever fight or argue. But we're very different people. And she challenges me intellectually, and I challenge her intellectually. And that makes for a powerful relationship. But booze tears away at that. Just a couple drinks tears away at that because all of a sudden you start to play small. You start to play defense. You start to play not to lose instead of playing offense. Not drinking, for me, is playing offense. I decided to play offense in my life. And so our connection over the 6 days was much better. Our relationship was much better. My focus, every day I got up at 6 o'clock and I got in my 17,000 steps, walking in the mountains, walking in the hills, putting on our hiking boots and shoes and going. And, together, and I'm mentally there. And I've had my 8 hours of rest. Just waking up hydrated and making better decisions with food. Vacations, most people tear it down, right? You almost blow it up. You need a vacation from your vacation. This was the first time that none of that happened. I used this opportunity for the first time ever to really re-engage and reconnect. And I feel stronger than ever. I'm out here first day that we're back. And I feel rested. I feel mentally rested, physically rested. I feel in fantastic shape. That is because of that single decision to stop drinking alcohol. So other things that I gained, I used to stay up late on vacation. We'd sit by the pool till 12 midnight, 1 in the morning. We'd make different decisions. We'd go on a boat cruise with drinks. We would all these other things, and all those behaviors and decisions have been changed for things we love. Like I love to golf. I don't have much time and I choose not to golf right now at this point in my life. So I really enjoyed playing golf on that mountain course with Krista. We loved our 4-wheeling and our ATVing outside. Once again, something that, you can't do with alcohol. So many things that we did that we were just together, tennis and reading and writing and all of these other amazing blessings. But boy, oh boy, I did not give up anything. I stopped and I gained. I stopped and I gained. And just driving home yesterday, the 3.5 hours after picking Emery up, I just walked in the house last night and I was unpacking my stuff, and I was like, I have never, ever, ever felt this great after a vacation. I just, I felt in control. I felt free. I felt independent, and I'm no longer killing time and killing energy. Like, it's only been 6 months, but I gotta tell you, I can't tell you how much time and energy and money this one single decision has made me. And I didn't pussyfoot around. I didn't fuck around and take the stairs into the pool, so to speak. I just decided on December 29th that was it. That was it. And I gave myself that mental trauma. I said, that's it. Done, you know, and that's it. And you know what? It's hard when you stop, boom, like that. Anything is hard. But I'm one of those guys, when I start to walk, like I started to walk an hour when I probably should have walked, you know, years ago, 15 minutes. I'm not a guy who writes for 10 minutes. I'm not a guy who, you know, walks for 10 minutes. I fucking well do it. I'm all in all the way. And it's the same with any decision that I make to improve my world, to build my empire. I'm just like, I'm all in. I've never taken the stairs. I've never used the steps into a pool in my life. I jump in that fucking water. And for the pain that it takes for the 5 seconds, first of all, it's never as bad as you think, okay? Never as bad as you think. The water's never as cold as you think. And on top of that, the pain is over in 10 seconds. As opposed to taking that little toe in the water, you know, you step in and, oh, it's cold, and you back out, all that little bitch stuff. You know, I'm just like, no. The bad wolf doesn't control me. When I make a decision to stop eating white sugar, I make a decision to stop eating white sugar. When I make a decision to up my game to 15,000 steps, I up my game to 15,000 steps. Like I taught my Blue Wings or Barclay Cup Championship, we're all fucking in. We're all in all the way, not part of the way. And I'm not a toe in the water guy. And sometimes I recommend that because I have to get some of you guys going. You know, if you'll write for 10 minutes, then maybe you'll sit there and get started and write for 20. If I can get you walking for 5 minutes, well, the secret there is we can trick the bad wolf. Once you walk for 5, you're feeling good. Maybe you'll walk for 15. So that's the reason that I want to get you started. But I'm an all-in guy. I've never used the steps in the pool in my life. My kid has never seen me walk into a pool, and she fucking never will. My wife has never seen me dip my toe in the water with anything, ever, and she never will. I'm that guy that comes running into the deep end. I did the polar plunge 7 years ago here on New Year's Day. It's a fundraiser, and they raise thousands of dollars. The polar plunge means on New Year's Day, they cut a hole in the lake, okay, with a chainsaw. And it's about 30 inches of ice, more than that sometimes, 30 inches of ice. And you take your turn jumping in and getting out. And I'm standing in the line with all these pussies, and they're half baked because it's New Year's Day and all this other stuff. I get up there with my nephew at the time, this is before Emery was born, and I just plunge into the lake, 30 inches of ice, get out, let everybody get out in front of me. Most invigorating thing that ever happened to me. All in, never toe in the water. So that's the way I approach this no alcohol. It's the way I approach any leveling up in my world. So something to think about. Are you a toe in the water man? Do your wife and your kids and your grandkids, do they see you using the steps? Or do they see somebody who just dives in and jumps in? Okay, are you all in, or are you the toe in the water guy? And I'm an all in guy. That's all I ever saw from my mom was all in. That's all I ever saw from my dad was all in. When I went in the insurance business, all in. Mistakes, losses, embarrassments, all in. When I bought the Perth Blue Wings, nobody said we could win. It was a disaster. The team was on the emergency operating table. I just went all in, fucking all in, every single day. This vacation with my wife for 6 days, all in. Just up early, going to bed, getting rest, talking, journaling, hiking, ATVing, everything and anything, all in, no toe in the water. So I wanted to share with you my first booze-free vacation. Many more to come. I'm a free man in that area of my life. I have made the decision. I have acted on it. It has become a lifestyle in 6 months. I only struggled with it for a few weeks because I was all in. Instead of doing something where, you know, you taper down or you drink less or all this bullshit, I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, I'm done buying booze. I'm done drinking booze. And then I wrote that sentence to myself every day for the last 6 months. I don't even think about it anymore. It was in my dreams for 30 days. It was a trigger for 30 days. I'd see this, I'd see that. We don't have booze in our house. I don't have booze in my office. I don't have booze in my mastermind house. I don't have booze in our Naples home. And I have fewer and fewer friends that drink. So the decision was made, and I'm all in, of course. So just an interesting story for you this morning about how I didn't give up a thing. I gained everything. And you know what? I'd be walking out here this morning and I'd be tired and I would be dragging my ass and I would be normally, you know, well, we got that family reunion. I'll have a couple drinks at that. And my wife and I wouldn't be as connected. Are you kidding me? It was 6 of the best days of my life with my queen because of the fact how present I was, how mentally present I was. And remember what I first told you when this video started, okay? Is everything you think, every decision you make, every action you take is either building the world, the badass millionaire world of your dreams, or it's tearing it apart. Black or white, or it's tearing it apart. Whether you decide to walk, whether you decide to drink water, what you eat, what you think, what you read, who you associate with, what you do today, every single action, every single behavior, you're either building your empire or you're tearing it apart. Michael McLean, that's it for today. Remember to do what I do. Tell your wife and children that you love them before the end of the day today. We hug our wife and our kids, and we tell the most important people in our life. That's a habit, that's a lifestyle that I put into play. I've been doing that for a long, long time, but that was something that I started as a goal. I wrote it down every day to tell Krista, to tell Emery how much they mean to me. After 45 days, it became a lifestyle. I didn't have to worry about it. It's a personal rule for me, no matter where we are, no matter what. I tell them that I love them, appreciate them, and respect them. Sometimes I write them a letter, a Post-it note on the mirror. Sometimes I'll put something in Emery's lunch pail, her hockey bag, in her skate, in her tennis shoe. Same thing with Krista. Always mixing it up, but every single day telling them how much they mean to me. You know, they're like, what are we going to do without those people? What would we do without those people? How different would life be? So life is a gift, but make sure you're congruent with that. I have a brand new newsletter coming out in August. The deadline is in a few days. If you like what you hear here, you can get it in a monthly newsletter. I'm just talking about all my world building. You know, I talked about all the decisions you make. You're either building your world or you're tearing it down. That's what I talk about in this 12-page newsletter. You can subscribe below at badassletter.com. Badassletter.com. It's chump change, $97 a month. Physical newsletter. I FedEx it to you one time per month. And it's the best of my best world building ideas. It's an investment in your marriage, in your marketing, in your business, in your children. It's an investment in you becoming a hero in your own home. And it's an investment in you building your empire in your world. And stop tearing it down. Badassletter.com. If you haven't got a copy of my new book, How to Not Get Your Ass Kicked in Business and Life, go to nobullbook.com. That link is below, nobullbook.com. It's $19.95 for the book, and if you order the book today, I'll ship it to you. I'll pay for the shipping. So I'll pay for the shipping, you pay for the book, and I'll get that physical book into your hands, okay? Keep asking yourself this question with every single thing you're doing, your decisions, your your actions, your behaviors. Is this building the world of my dreams? Is this action and behavior building the world of my dreams, or is this action and behavior tearing it apart? Is this building my business? Is this building my marketing? Is this building my empire marriage? Is this building my badass relationship with my son and daughter, my grandkids? Is this building my mental health, my physical health? Because it's all part, there's no silos in a badass world. It all works together. Is this thinking, is this behavior, are these actions helping build the world of your dreams, what you want? Or are your actions, is this action tearing it down? And then make the correct decision from there. 2 words that change my life. 2 words that can change your life. Be relentless.